The drama surrounding the Cleveland Browns has erupted into something far larger than a debate over who should start at quarterback. What unfolded after that win in Las Vegas didn't just expose tension. It exposed a full-blown power struggle between the most important decision-makers in the organization. It exposed distrust, ego, and two competing visions colliding inside a franchise already scarred by decades of instability. And the spark that set everything off was a moment so simple, so routine, that nobody could have predicted it would reveal just how fractured things truly are. A game ball. One ball that should have been handed to the rookie who made franchise history, but instead became the symbol of an internal war threatening to tear the Browns apart from the inside. Shedeur Sanders did the impossible. He walked into the middle of a lost season, took over a battered offense behind an unreliable line, and delivered a performance that didn't just keep Cleveland afloat, it electrified them. A rookie in his first start on the road in a stadium known for swallowing quarterbacks whole, walked out with a win the franchise had been begging for since 1995. That kind of debut should have been honored, celebrated, immortalized with a moment every quarterback remembers for the rest of their life. Instead, it became the center of one of the biggest controversies the Browns have faced in years. Because when Kevin Stefanski held that game ball in his hand in front of the entire team, with cameras rolling and the emotional weight of the victory still lingering in the air, every single person in that room expected him to turn toward Shedeur and acknowledge the history he had just made. They expected the coach to recognize the kid who had played with poise beyond his years. They expected him to praise the quarterback who executed the offense with efficiency and confidence, keeping the Raiders' defense on their heels all night. Instead, he gave the moment entirely to Myles Garrett, a superstar who absolutely deserved recognition, but not at the expense of the quarterback who had just done something nobody in that jersey had done in nearly 3 decades. The locker room froze. Reporters raised eyebrows. Fans erupted online. Analysts pounced on the clip. It wasn't the lack of a game ball alone, it was the message that came with it. The message that said this coach was either unwilling or unable to recognize the importance of Shedeur's performance. And the person who took that message the hardest wasn't a fan or a reporter. It was Deion Sanders. A father watching his son deliver on the biggest stage and then get treated like an afterthought. A Hall of Famer who understands more than most how the early stages of a quarterback's career can shape everything that follows. Deion didn't stay quiet. Behind the scenes, he made it clear he felt the decision was disrespectful, and he wasn't wrong. Because while Stefanski handed that game ball to Garrett, standing just a few feet away was the man who drafted Shedeur. The man who staked his reputation on him. Andrew Berry watched the entire situation unfold, and when it was over he walked directly to the rookie quarterback, wrapped him in a full embrace, and sent a message louder than anything Stefanski said that night. Berry's message was simple: I believe in you. I'm with you. And I'm not backing down. That moment, Stefanski ignoring the quarterback while Berry embraced him, was the first visible sign of a divide insiders say has been growing for weeks. A divide between a front office that sees Shedeur Sanders as the future, and a coaching staff that refuses to fully accept him. Because while Berry sees a franchise quarterback with rare arm talent, mental toughness, and untapped potential, Stefanski sees someone he never asked for, someone he never wanted, someone who doesn't fit neatly into the system he spent years building. That's why the press conference the following Monday poured gasoline on an already burning fire. Reporters pressed Stefanski on why he didn't give Shedeur a game ball, and instead of offering clarity, he dodged, deflected, and delivered a lifeless explanation that convinced nobody. The most damning piece wasn't what he said, it was what he didn't say. He never spoke Shedeur's name. Not once. He talked about a rookie. He talked about the quarterback. But he couldn't bring himself to identify him directly, even after the reporter used Shedeur's name in the question. That wasn't an accident. That was a choice. And everyone watching felt the chill in the air. Stefanski looked uncomfortable, tense, and frustrated, not like a coach proud of his rookie quarterback, but like someone who couldn't wait for the moment to be over. It was obvious. Fans saw it. Analysts saw it. And most importantly, Shedeur saw it. You can't play quarterback in the NFL if your coach doesn't believe in you. You can't lead men if your leader won't say your name. And you can't build a future around a player when the head coach treats him like an inconvenient obligation. Berry knows this. That's why insiders say the GM has silently but firmly aligned himself behind Shedeur. Stefanski, on the other hand, is hedging his bets, treating the quarterback position like an ongoing audition, even after a historic win. Behind closed doors, this dynamic has created an atmosphere so tense you could slice it with a knife. Players feel it. Staff members feel it. And the next few weeks will determine whether this situation explodes completely. Because if Shedeur struggles, and every rookie does at some point, Stefanski now has the perfect excuse to pull him, reaffirm Gabriel as the safe choice, and essentially declare he was right all along. But if Shedeur keeps playing well, if he continues to show growth, command, and the rare talent that made Barry believe in him from the beginning, then Stefanski will be forced into a decision he clearly doesn't want to make: commit to a quarterback he never wanted, or stand on principle and risk his own job in the process. Because the truth is simple: the GM always wins these battles. If Barry believes Stefanski is hurting the development of a potential franchise quarterback, he will make a change. He will bring in coaches who support Shedeur fully. He will reshape the offense around his young passer. And Stefanski, despite all his accomplishments, despite stabilizing the team after years of chaos, will become the latest name on Cleveland's endless list of discarded head coaches. And Shedeur? He'll continue doing what he has always done: rise. Because every time he's been doubted, every time analysts said he wasn't ready, every time critics used his last name as a weapon instead of an inspiration, he delivered. He has the poise. He has the arm. He has the leadership. He has the belief of the general manager and some of the biggest stars on the team. Myles Garrett isn't celebrating the kid because he's Dion's son. He's celebrating him because he sees a quarterback he can win with. So now the Browns face a crossroads. Will they repeat the mistakes that have haunted this franchise for decades? Will they let internal dysfunction destroy another young quarterback? Or will they finally choose a direction that builds stability, unity, and long-term success? What do you think? Should Cleveland commit fully to Shedeur Sanders right now? Is Kevin Stefanski mishandling this situation? And could this internal divide derail the Browns' future if it isn't resolved soon? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more deep dive breakdowns just like this one.